Yes, we're all zoomed out. Virtual connections are something we've heard about for the year, and we're sort of sick of it already. But put that aside for a moment, because one of the great messages of Purim is virtual connections, because the Jews were pioneers of the virtual connection. There's a puzzling passage in the Talmud in Megillah where the Talmud says that when Haman offers 10,000 talents of silver to Achashverosh in order to compensate him for the destruction of the Jews, so the Talmud says that God calls out and says, the half shekel that the Jews gave came before Haman's 10,000 talents of silver, and that half shekel outweighs the 10,000 talents of silver. Now, this is a puzzling passage. What exactly does it mean? But the meaning of this passage came clear to me this year during a time of virtual connection. What is Haman's argument for the destruction of the Jews? He says this is a people that's mifuzar u'mithorad. They are dispersed, they are scattered, and therefore they are weak and they are worthless. What does the half shekel represent? Well, if you look at the Mishnah and you look at the Rambam, the half shekel was ordinarily offered by every Jew in the temple. But if you couldn't make it to the temple, there would be shluchim, there would be emissaries that would be sent not only throughout the land of Israel, but they would be sent to Persia and to Babylonia and to Egypt. The half shekel was a virtual network. It was a way for far-flung Jews to connect with the temple. And the meaning of this passage is now clear. Haman says they're scattered, they're dispersed, and God calls out and says, you can be scattered and you can be dispersed, and you can still be connected as one. Virtual connections by emissaries, by letters, are powerful connections as well. 14 years ago, when I lived in Montreal, there was a Montreal Jewish man who had crossed the border from India into Nepal and gotten arrested. He was probably arrested because they wanted to extort some money from him. Now, at that point, the Canadian diplomats were doing their job, but not doing much more. And the Jewish community in Canada jumped to his defense. The Chabad Shluchim in India went to help him, to visit him regularly, and the diplomats of Israel also pushed his case forward, and after 10 months, he was finally released. This was one moment in my career where you could see the virtual network of the Jewish people jumping into action. And that's the lesson of Purim. Even if you're scattered, even if you're dispersed, if you can find a virtual connection, that is very powerful indeed. Chag Sameach.